Ayubowan, Vanakkam. I'm Vayoni Dimel. This is Boston Lanka News, bringing you news, views and entertainment from Boston and USA. Two bomb explosions rocked the Boston Marathon near the finish line on last Monday, causing multiple casualties and sending the city into chaos. Boston Marathon, the world's oldest marathons dating to 1897 and considered one of most prestigious marathons, had more than 25,000 runners participating this year. The two identical pressure cooker bombs, each with the capacity to hold 6 liters of liquid, blew up within few seconds and a short distance apart on Boston's Boylston Street. Sri Lankan-born Winston Samarasingha was one of the runners who took part among the competitive group.
Actually, I had to hire a coach, back in Indiana, one of the best coaches in here in America, and he actually started coaching me, and so he actually designed me a plan. And so, but last 2 years I trained so hard, and I trained just being a part-time athlete. So I had to actually work 60 hours, to provide for my mom and my sister back in Sri Lanka. And my sisters and my mom, so all the I'm the since my father died, so I'm like the breadwinner of the family. So and I had to work hard for them to provide what I could provide. At the same time, I train as a part-time athlete. But I last 2 years, which is 2011 and 2012, I qualified for Boston Marathon with the time of 3:02 and 3:06. But the last year is the one I could get in, because that Boston Marathon is very, very competitive one to get in, because so many athletes in the world and apply for this one. So this is so important marathon for everyone, So that's how I got into this place, and this year, and then I came here to Boston, and that's how I get in here.
Now, Winston, you were one of the runners in Boston Marathon. How did you do in the marathon?
Well, I didn't do quite well because I got dehydrated, at mile 23, and then since then I did pretty well, and I collapsed a little bit, and then I had to walk and finish, because this was my dream marathon. So, but I finished, quite like 3:30ish, but it's still, I'm not happy with my timing, but I'm glad I completed. So, this is not the first I can come back next year, I can train hard, and I can definitely come back next year and, complete and have a good time,
Tell us about the bomb explosion that took place. Were you close to the explosion?
Oh, actually I was, and I was actually after, I finished my marathon, I couldn't stand up because I totally dehydrated so bad. So I had to, go to the medical tent. They actually put me on the wheelchair and then rushed me into the medical tent. The great people here in Boston, and you can say that how appreciated I am, and for those people. And even before that happened, and they were so great people. And this is a great city. And if anyone want to come here, and these people welcome you like you are their hero, because you are a runner. They have the utmost respect for them. So they rushed me into the wheelchair, and then he rushed me into the medical tent, and then they start giving me IVs, because I didn't know what was going on until then. And then all of a sudden we heard a blast, but in my mind, or in their minds, we never thought that this is a bomb. So unfortunately it was a bomb, and that and then those people outside came to medical tent and said that you got to leave because we have some emergency people that we also we were asked what happened. Then they explained it was a blast, and then they took out my IVs, and then I just ran out of there and to the bus, to transport to a different city where I'm staying. So.
Did you see any wounded?
I did saw some, but I didn't get a chance to even go there because they actually pushed us, which is the procedure of the BI and all the law enforcement in this country. So they need to evacuate everybody from there, the scene, which is very, very which is very, very right. So.
Boston Mayor Tom Menino, addressing the media, said that this tragedy is not going to stop Boston. "We will not let terror take us over," said defiant mayor. Echoing a sense of defiance, Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick said next year's marathon will be even bigger and better. At the White House, President Barack Obama vowed that those responsible will feel the full weight of justice.
This was a heinous and cowardly act, and given what we now know about what took place, the FBI is investigating it as an act of terrorism. Anytime bombs are used to target innocent civilians, it is an act of terror. We will find whoever harmed our citizens, and we will bring them to justice.
Making a statement on Boston Marathon, a member of parliament in Sri Lanka, Dr. Felician Fernandopulle, said that the terrorist attack on the Boston Marathon was the first attack on a sporting event in the world since the assassination of her husband, Minister Jeyaraj Fernandopulle. Minister Fernandopulle was killed by a LTTE suicide bomber as he was about to flag off a marathon at Valiveria Gampaha on the morning of April 6, 2008. The Valiveria blast claimed the lives of 12 persons, including Minister Fernandopulle.
Then Sudanam Garu Mamarga Marga Sangadramachya, Jeyaraj Fernandopulle Metuma Ati. Thank you, Governor Kajedinata, Sudanamana, Sri Lanka Store Merton, Down Karagi, Mangala Mote, Mangala Pirata, Aram Belabadi.
Ready?
Felician Fernandopulle, Jeyaraj's brother, joins with Boston Lanka. Felician, your brother Jeyaraj was killed by a terrorist bomb about 5 years ago when he attended a marathon in Valiveria at the New Year celebrations. Now that terrorist had struck Boston when the city was having its annual marathon, do you see any similarities in these two tragedies?
Yes, my brother Jeyaraj and 14 others were killed, more than 100 wounded, by a LTTE suicide bomb attack that took place 5 years ago, exactly 5 years ago, in Gampaha, Sri Lanka. National athletic coach Lakshman D. Alvis and Olympic marathon runner K. Karunaratne were among the players killed. There's a norm that terrorists do not or would not attack sport events. But in these you can see the terrorists, whether they are LTTE or otherwise, have no regard whatsoever to human life. Anyway, I would like to express my condolences to the family members of those who were affected and to the people, as I am one who had gone through this kind of agony 5 years ago. I was given the task of identifying my dead brother's body. I will never forget that scene for my life.
Could you share with us your thoughts about Jeyaraj? What are some of his qualities you admire as your brother and as a politician and a leader?
I admire Jeyaraj as an elder brother and as an opposition politician. He did his best to the people when he was in the opposition from 1983, when he was appointed as the organizer for Katana, to 1994 when he became a minister. His period in the opposition was the worst period any opposition member in Sri Lanka had ever faced. In the mornings, you can hear parents coming to our house inquiring about their abducted sons. There were hundreds of people taking refuge in our house for many months. They feared abduction. Jeyaraj protected them. When Jeyaraj became a minister, he took special care and affection to those parents and widows whose children and husbands were killed or abducted. He wanted to have them some kind of financial support for their future. On the other hand, ordinary people who face injustice at the hand of government officials were never listened by any politician in Sri Lanka. This is a very sad state in Sri Lanka. Jeyaraj was really an exception. He was always willing to listen to those people and talk to the government officials and make some adjustments. Even today, people in this area remember how Jeyaraj helped them in many ways. I have lost an elder brother, but the entire village has lost their caretaker.
As we remember the 3 victims who were dead in Boston due to the cowardly act of violence, we also remember the former Olympic marathon runner K.A. Karunaratne, the national athletics coach Lakshman Dialvis, who died along with the minister Jeyaraj Fernandopulle. That concludes our news edition. We meet you again with another news edition of News, Views and Entertainment from Boston and USA. Till then, goodbye.